Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to discuss an very interesting thing, and start with uh, a humorous line, and it's a poop is a gold mine, right? And it really is so because there's billions of trillions of digital information, biological information, molecular information about our health, right? And before we, discuss about the poop, about the microbes living there, right, how they program our biology for health, that is probably let's step back and discuss a bit about DNA, right? So what is actually a DNA, right? So our cells have this nucleus which contains these DNA molecules that is organized into various genes, right? It has potential to perform a particular function, right? For instance, if you have to sequence your DNA of your liver, heart, lungs, brain, it would be same, right? It has DNA has potential to be any of those organs, right? But it does not know which organ it is and what it does, right? So so essentially it is like a in simple words, it is like a standard operating manual for your cells for various functions, right? But it's only a potential as I told. So it does not tell it has a capability to perform a particular series of functions, but is it really performing a function or not is not determined by your DNA, right? So it is actually your genes expression, right? So what happens is when your genes is turned on, right, or your cell copies your DNA into RNA, right? And if this RNA actually translates the entire gene sequence into proteins which perform various functions such as, regulating blood sugar level, absorbing nutrients, neutralizing pathogens, a lot of these, communicating to brain, a lot of these things, right? It is DNA really uh, does not matter, right? Having a DNA, may tell you a risk or a potential for a disease, but it doesn't mean you will develop one. So why the risk is converted into actually onset and progression of disease is all about the overexpression and expression of particular genes, right? So DNA is just a static molecule. It is not going to tell you anything about your health, right? Except from a rare genetic disorder, right? So when it comes to even microbes, right? So we know that microbes have genes which outnumber human genes by 150 to 1, and actually microbes encode for one microbe encode maybe more than 100,000 genes, right? But if you are sequencing microbial DNA, right, which most of the microbiome companies are doing, right, it is just going to tell you what all genes, which microbe is there and what all genes it encodes. It does not tell you whether it is actually encoding some specific genes, if how those genes are being expressed, which genes are being expressed. It does not, this microbial DNA does not tell you which specific genes are being expressed, right? And it is all about the expression of the genes by microbes, the microbial expression of genes that actually gives us health or disease, right? So I think till now the thing is that your microbes have 150 times 150 to 1 genes as compared to your human genes, but it is, if you sequence your microbial DNA, you are going to just get to know about which bacteria or microbe is there, and the genes it encodes. It does not tell you which genes is actually being expressed, right? There may be 100,000 genes, or but only 20,000 genes are being expressed, right? So being active and expressed. So that's the information what matters, right? So when it comes to uh, microbiome, right? So let's talk about a bit about a lot of these things called good microbes and bad microbes, and these are the basic thing where a lot of these probiotic companies are selling probiotics. So exactly, do you think we have good microbe or bad microbes, right? It's nothing called as good or bad microbes, right? It's same microbe inside your gut or inside your mouth may be producing good chemicals and bad chemicals or both, right? So it's not about which bacteria is there. but it's all about the chemicals they are producing, because they don't have eyes and ears. They just talk about they just talk in chemical signals, right? So these signals, or chemical byproducts, or what we call as metabolites, is can be harmful, which can stimulate your immune system response, which can overactive your immune system response, which can trigger inflammation, right? Or it can be beneficial, right, which can provide you nutrients and beneficial compound which can improve your health, or which may suppress the pro-inflammatory molecules being produced by other microbes, right? So these, when you are going for probiotics, so essentially you don't have to focus on good and bad microbes, but the focus has to be more on, if I am going to take this specific probiotic, for instance, lactobacillus acidophilus, right? Whether it is going to trigger a particular pathway which is going to promote anti-inflammatory activities or pro-inflammatory activities, that is what matters, right? Uh, so so again, same bacteria. So if you have to sequence your microbial DNA, it is just going to tell you the same time every time you sequence it. It is not going to tell you which specific genes are being expressed, right? And again, that is what matters. So essentially, your microbe, again, what is the trigger point for most of these metabolites, right? It's Let us discuss that. So it is the food you eat, right? So again, food is a sack of 25,000 plus molecules. These molecules interact with your microbiome, right? So when your microbiome interact with these foods or metabolize and synthesize these foods, it may lead to expression of certain genes which would you know promote anti-inflammatory activities, which will calm down your immune system, and you will have all the vitamins, nutrients, minerals, and you will have the best of energy, best of health, right? Or it may, based on what food you're eating, it may synthesize that food into, you know, uh, it may actually lead to expression of certain virulence genes, or overexpression of certain genes, right? Which can actually make your immune system overactive, which can lead to pro-inflammatory activity. So essentially, how this happens. So this is the basis of how you develop a disease, right? So uh, so when you have these pro-inflammatory pathways being activated, when you are actually eating such foods which are actually activating these pathways and making expression of genes, which is actually expression of certain genes that promoting or activating certain pro-inflammatory pathways, right? So it tells the immune system, to go to the site of or injection, or wherever attack is, and take care of the attack, right? Or that's how immune system may do a inflammatory response, pro-inflammatory response, a blood clotting response. But how do immune system respond to is depending upon the immune system receptor or sensor, what we call it, inflammasomes, right? And they determine the nature of inflammatory response. They activate certain enzymes that lead to upregulation or overexpression of certain pro-inflammatory molecules such as cytokines, chemokines, TNF-alpha, and all this. And this is what leads to onset and progression of disease, right? So to sum up, DNA is not your destiny. It does not matter, right? Uh, you know, what matters is the expression of the genes. That is again depending upon the daily activities, what you do, the food you eat, the environment you live in, right? And a lot of these expression genes is triggered by your microbiome, whether your mouth in or in your gut, right? Because they produce a lot of these metabolites when they produce a lot of these, when they synthesize a lot of food we eat, molecules in the food we eat, right? And these metabolites or pathways are actually is an end result of expression of certain genes which lead to activation of these pathways, and that is what stimulates the immune system, and you either have good things or bad things, right? Or probably it can lead to overexpression of inflammatory molecules, which can lead to onset and progression of certain disease like that. So every disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, cardiovascular disease, skin issues, autism, Parkinson's, everything is connected with that, right? So even, let me give you an example. Like bacteria, which I always say is E. coli. E. coli is a gamma proteobacteria. It is if you're feeding them with a lot of these choline foods and a lot of these foods, what molecules you're feeding, actually it actually can lead to expression of certain genes. It can activate certain pathways such as LPS production, TMA production, phenylacetyl glutamine production, which can trigger pro-inflammatory activities, which can lead to diseases such as diabetes and cardiovascular disease, or probably it can lead to expression of genes, which will provide you vitamin B12, right? So essentially, the same bacteria can give you disease or can give you essential nutrients like vitamin B12, right? So that's a basic of these are the few questions you should understand before you're going for a DNA test or a microbiome test or you're going for probiotics. These are basics of it, right? That's it for today. Have a good day. Thank you very much.